Hey, what's shaking, everybody? I'm doing another video on the carnivore diet because it seems like we're experiencing a little bit of a carnivore diet madness. People are going crazy over the carnivore diet, whether it's to lose body fat, reduce inflammation, reverse or heal autoimmune disease, you name it. But definitely people are jumping on the carnivore diet, at least super interested in the fact about an all meat diet or zero carb diet, whatever you want to call it. It really seems like the carnivore diet's becoming a little bit of a fad diet. And I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way, but it's getting shed a lot of light by people like Dr. Jordan Peterson that's using it for depression, anxiety, or his daughter, Michaela Peterson, that's using it for rheumatoid arthritis and also depression and anxiety. Or people like Dr. Shawn that are using it, and people that are jumping on it and sharing their success stories. So I thought I'd share some more information and why I think that if you're considering this diet, it's really important to do it objectively and to keep an open mind. You don't want to become closed-minded. I've learned from experience that when people close their minds and they box themselves in, it really limits their long-term results in any diet. And the more popular that the carnivore diet gets, the more attention it receives, the more people that jump on board and share their experiences, you're going to see experts are going to pop up everywhere. And although there might be experts and there might be people creating tribes, I want you to make sure that you're always listening to your own reason, being objective about things. Yeah, I'm a dude talking about the carnivore diet right now, talking about zero carb or talking about, zero carb keto, you name it. I'm talking about that. But I never want my thoughts and my opinions to ever get in the way of your common sense or what you believe to be true on a practical level, or just using your own rational thought. Never let anybody get in the way of you using that, or being mindful of the way your body actually feels, because that's what's more important, is how do you actually feel doing this diet. If you're doing the carnivore diet and you feel like crap, do I think it's the best diet for you? No. You got to be mindful about that. Everybody might experience the diet differently or approach differently, but you got to use your own mind so that you can make your own decisions. And I think some of the best advice that I could ever give to anybody deciding to try this diet is don't feel like you have to join a tribe, that you have to be part of the carnivore tribe. Because what that does is it creates an us versus them mentality. And I know I've spent the last decade doing a low carb, high fat diet of different sorts. Call it keto, call it GAPS, SCD, paleo, you name it. You name it. I've shifted through it. But what I've learned over the years is when I started my first diet when I was sick with my autoimmune disease, I hopped on one diet that had a set of rules. I had to follow this set of rules. If I didn't, I wasn't doing that diet enough. I wasn't, at the time it was SED enough, because I did a few things that were considered illegal on that diet. So what happened? I had to shift from that diet to another diet. I had to make different tweaks. So no longer I could call myself I was doing the legal parameters of that diet, because the people that are so-called experts almost create this orthodoxy that says you can only do this and you can only do that. And what happens is that stagnates a lot of people's progress. But anyways, I jumped to another diet. And as soon as I jumped on the other diet, there was a bunch of people, the same thing, that call themselves experts. And if you're talking about an experience and you say you try that, they're saying this isn't allowed. Then I shifted to doing keto diet. And all of a sudden I'm doing a ketogenic diet, and I started doing awesome on keto, but I started doing 2 days a week that I was doing pretty much like I was doing a refeed. So I was having carbs twice a week, doing one meal a day, but doing carbs twice a week. So eating anything I want twice a week. And all of a sudden I wasn't keto enough. Living by everybody's rules. Okay, I'm not keto enough. I'm in testable ketosis 5 days of the week, but I want to switch it up. And I forgot that we live in a world where people would be in ketosis 365 days a year. I forgot that there's apples that grow on a tree, that things grow on the ground that you might eat. You know? All I'm saying, guys, anybody choosing to do this, be open-minded. Realize that there's a whole bunch of options. It's not only one way's the right way. That's why everybody goes their own way, with thinking that just a lot of times it's like a transition. It's a process. You might jump from one thing to another and find that, hey, you know what? My needs aren't being met with this. I got to add something else. You know, maybe you're going carnivore. You feel awesome. 1 year down the line, you're like, hey, I want to add some spinach. I want to add some things in. Because you're going to find that as your gut heals for a lot of people, you're going to see, hey, I am craving some more things. I can tolerate more things. All of a sudden, I can eat these things and I feel great. I'm not getting inflammation in my joints. The mental clarity is still there. That's up to you to decide. I want you to remember to keep an open mind. I want you to remember to be objective. Use your critical, rational common sense. Don't let being closed-minded halt your progress, because at the end of the day, I know that everybody watching this video is after some form of progress. Whether it's to reduce inflammation from a disease like arthritis, lupus, to help with your anxiety or depression, improve gut diseases, or just to reduce body fat and feel good and improve mental clarity, you name it. We're after progress. So keep an open mind. The last thing I want to see is people turn the carnivore diet into the new vegan diet. When I say this, what I mean is to avoid the vegan mindset. I have nothing against vegans, but the majority of my experience meeting vegans or my interactions with them involve them condemning my choice to eat animal products. But that choice, I have the right to make my own choice. But condemning me doesn't really do anything. It usually closes my ears to actually listening to what they're saying, because you tend to be more offended than being open to what they're saying. I recently had a conversation with the vegan. So I work out a few times a week at the local gym, and after my workout, me and my buddy, we hit the steam room. Go for a steam, relax, chill, talk, you name it. We're talking about some of the stuff we're doing, so we might have been talking about keto, intermittent fasting, carnivore diet, some of the stuff that we do. And all of a sudden, somebody jumped in our conversation. And it was a vegan dude. And he started to condemn our decisions, saying, why do we eat meat? Do we know the effect that it has on the environment? It's bad for your health, you name it. Number one, I'm looking at this dude, looking at him and thinking, he looks scrawny and he didn't look rather healthy. His complexion of his skin wasn't very good. But I'm like, okay, I'll listen to this dude talk. He went off again, just negatively condemning me. And then I asked him, I said, what's the objective of this conversation? Like, what's your objective? What message are you trying to send me? He was confused. He was totally dumbfounded, wondering like, okay, what did I ask that for? And I said, could it be maybe that you're trying to help the animals, reduce the amount of animals that are killed in slaughterhouses? Do you want to improve people's health? Could that be maybe what you're trying to go after? He completely agreed and said, yeah, that is what I'm trying to go after. And I said, I understand that. I get where you're coming from in those regards. So I said, like, to be honest, if you were to take two routes in sharing some of your information, which route do you think would be better? Do you think you got option A, that you're going to speak with somebody and you're going to condemn their decisions, tell them that it's bad that they eat meat, it affects the world, it affects pollution, it affects all the things that you've just told me? Or do you think it makes more sense to keep doing what you're doing, to share with people how good you feel, the impact it's having on the environment? People get to see how good you look. They get to see an improvement of your physique. And then they get to make their own decision. And then I said, did you just randomly become a vegan? Was it just like, was it the snap of a finger that you said, I'm becoming vegan, I'm going to stop eating meat? Or I said, was it a process? He said it was a process. I was like, so how did the process go? He said, well, in the beginning, I stopped eating meat. I stopped eating pork. Then I stopped eating beef. Then he said he stopped eating dairy. Then he stopped eating eggs. And then he went full vegan. So I said, just based on what you're just saying, you're saying that it's a process. You don't go from one thing to another in an instant. It's a process. So when you're talking to people, you have to respect that it's a process. And I get that your motive is to improve the quality of whether it's the environment, animals, your health, you name it. But you have to take a different strategy, not offending the people that you're talking to. Because everybody they do things on their own terms and at their own rate or their own pace. It can't be your pace. So talking to me or talking to anybody and being self-righteous doesn't help your objective. Going over this with this dude, you could see he had nothing to say to what I just said to him. Nothing. Because I made sense. I actually got through to him that he's like, hey, He looked inside for an answer and realized it is a process. We're all on our own missions to achieve health and fitness. We live in this world of openness, don't we? So do your thing and let other people do their things. You don't have to sell them on your beliefs and force them to believe what you can believe. Just be open to it. Don't think that there's only one way to do anything, because that's not the truth. And that includes thinking that the carnivore diet's the only way, because it's not the truth, and actually it's bogus. People have survived all around the world on different diets and experienced awesome health. People used to eat food that was around them geographically, and when it was seasonally available, so whether it was meat, fruits, veggies, or a variety of the few, you name it, they'd eat it. The modern world's changed so much, whether it's the Industrial Revolution, transportation. Hey, you couldn't get a banana all year round, now you can. We have fridges, we can store and collect food. Back in the day, whether it was a few hundred years ago, you'd be eating when you can eat, and you would eat as much as possible. Humans like food. We eat whenever possible. It's built into our DNA, our blueprint. You don't know when the next time you're not going to see food. So when you get that feeling or that urge to want to gorge and eat as much as possible, that's just built in. I get it. And also, I'm doubtful the carnivore dude that walked by the apple tree and the apple drops doesn't say, I'm going to pick this up and take a bite. Oh, this tastes delicious. I'm going to throw it out because I only eat meat. That's probably improbable. Or he walked by some berries and picked up the berries and didn't want to eat them. Come on, guys. Gotta do a little bit of critical thinking here. I love the carnivore diet, but do I think that any of these diets that are pure isolated and that aren't open to things long term? Don't be closed-minded. Stay open-minded. Hey, do what works for you. And if you ever feel like you gotta add something else, add something else. Be mindful of the way you feel. And I want you guys to check out the link, and you guys can actually see why the carnivore diet works, how it works, why it works. The link to the blog post or to my actual post will be in the description of this video. And I can't say that enough. Be mindful to the way you feel, because the way you feel is key to health and feeling awesome. If you feel great, you have lots of energy, you get great sleeps, your body's functioning good with little to no pain, you have good bowel movements, then you're golden. But if you're feeling off, then question what you're doing. Don't be scared to add some greens, fruits, or whatever you feel like doing. Let your body tell you what's right for you, not some so-called expert. Being opposed to adding some non-animal products on the carnivore diet is the equivalent to a sick vegan telling you that they'll never add animal products to their diet. What, their own ideals are getting in the way of their own health? Does that actually make sense? We live in a world where it seems like when somebody finds a solution to a problem, they like to go to the top of the mountain and they like to shout it out and tell everybody that they found a solution. They like to put a label on it. They like to name it. They like to call it their specific diet. The carnivore diet, the keto diet, the paleo diet, the GAPS diet, the SCD diet, the autoimmune protocol, you name it. And they announce to the world that their diet's the best diet. Then they go out and they get invested by creating products and they writing books. They make it really hard for them to ever change their beliefs and to think of other things outside that box that may tweak or improve people's results. That's why I'm really saying for anybody that's deciding on trying the carnivore diet approach, or any approach that you might decide to try, a zero carb diet, or anything you want to call it, it's so important that you keep an open mind. It really is. And I truly believe the carnivore diet is such an awesome tool. Whether you're looking to heal from a disease, to reduce body fat, help with depression or anxiety, you name it, it's an awesome tool. But you need to remember to trust the way you feel, to be mindful. Use your critical mind and do what allows for you to feel awesome. I make these videos because I want to contribute, I want to pay it forward, I want to help people. I love researching information. I like learning about new diets. I like tweaking. I like failing forward. But most of all, I make these videos to help people, because I know what it's like to be on the other side of that screen looking at videos to improve your life because you suffer from some kind of condition or you feel uncomfortable with your body. You name it. But I want to improve people's lives. So if you're deciding to try this tool, I'm telling you, the carnivore diet in general is an awesome diet. It's an awesome tool. And so are low carb keto diets. There's so many tools that you can use. But for anybody watching this video, if you have any questions about trying the carnivore diet, or if you want to share experiences of trying the carnivore diet, I really encourage you to leave a comment. It really makes such a huge difference to look at people's comments, share their awesome experiences of how it helped them. And you can look at some of my other videos. I've had nothing but awesome comments about life-changing stories about people that hopped on the carnivore diet and how remarkably their life changed within a short period of time. So make sure to jump in, join the conversation, guys. And you know what? Thanks a million for the support that you guys show me. I truly appreciate it and I love it. Have a great day. And yeah, thanks again.